if they made older hippie Barbie with red hair, she would probably look like this. Okay, excuses. They're so much fun, and we can use them to justify anything we do or don't do. And here's what mine used to be. What if I do all that work and it's just a big waste of my time? I don't have a blog. I don't have a website. I'm overwhelmed. I can't pay my bills. I don't have time. Can't do this until I do that, and then do that, and then that. Well, meanwhile, I watch webinars and do teleseminars and videos all the time to keep growing and keep hearing the truth about what's possible. 2 people, one of them is Allie Brown, said just get started and course correct along the way. Because my thing was, well, what if I do it wrong? Get started and course correct along the way. That took about 20 excuses out because they were no longer valid. Finally, as you know, I did the success tips video. And then December 30th, I just had the hugest feeling to start this. Then December 31st, it was like you've got to get the first one up by midnight and email it. There's no have-tos, but it was just like huge feeling. So I did, and I got it on there, and then 2 days later I released the success tips as a bonus video, and then 1 week later I put out the second video, and now I wanted a blog. Between the blurbs for the video and this and da-da-da, I was so overwhelmed. I wanted a logo and I wanted to brand myself, but I was so overwhelmed because that means, what am I going to use? This is me, right? I'm not just going to use a generic thing. Then I'm going to have to pick out music, and then, oh my God, what am I going to say on the blog? And So finally, my inner voice was like, okay, just do the first thing. Don't worry about those 8 other things, just the first thing. So I said, okay. I said, well, what am I about? And then I got the idea for the disco ball. And then I was like, oh, I got to pick a font. What am I going to do? And I'm not crazy about my font, but it's a font. And I'm moving forward. And then I found the music. And so now I had 3 things accomplished that I was so overwhelmed about. Like we talked about last time, my desire helped overcome the fear and this is the point. When I took the first step, when I went ahead and did the first thing, which that day was the disco ball. And I set up a disco shirt behind it and then kind of blurred it, and I had these little lights shining on it. Once I took that first step, the next step just came, and the next step just came. So don't let the next 18 steps just make you not do anything. Just do the first one. And even if you only get one thing done this month on your idea, if you decide to go for it, only one thing, that's one more thing than you had. And part of that was being in the moment. If I'm focused on the 8 next things I have to do, I have to make this special little movie and another software, da-da-da. I'm not in the moment. I wasn't enjoying my disco ball opener, right? And just as a matter of fact, when I thought of telling you this, I was washing my face. And with soap on my face, I ran to write this down. And now, weeks later, so I practice what I preach when I say, stop right that second, go write it down, then, When I surrendered and just said, okay, I don't know most of the reasons for any of this that I'm doing, except it fulfills me and I love it. And many friends have said that I have helped them. When I surrendered, just said, okay, and just listen to that inner voice, and you know which one it is. It's the calm one, the firm but calm voice. That's your inner voice. Maybe you call it God. So when I surrendered to that and got in the moment and no longer cared who thought I was, I want to encourage you. Just take the first step. People say it over and over. Well, you have to step out on faith. I get so annoyed about that. It's just so cliche, but it's really true. Once you take that first step, somehow you get in the next idea, or somebody will call right then and they say something and you're like, oh. So I just encourage you to take that first step, whether it's with a friendship or a business idea or whatever. And please notice that behind me, it's green. Why is it green? Well, that's kind of like an inside joke with myself. Part of me is really a hippie, and I'm a tree-hugging, recycling fool, and I'm proud of it. So hence my green background. Well, it's kind of green. If I move this way and that way, it changes. Have a great week. Just listen. Keep exploring. Like we talked, just give yourself 3 minutes to explore an idea you've never explored before instead of just shutting it down. Now, 3 minutes out of 24 hours. I mean, what is that? Okay. Like the video if you liked it. Share if you think anyone else could benefit from it. Subscribe so you get that link right in your email for next week's video. comment. I'd love to hear your comments. What topics could I talk about that would help you? And LadyBossLifeCoach.com is where I blog in between videos about completely different stuff. There's always going to be cross-referencing, but these are stories that I don't put on here. Okay, have a great week, and I'll see you next time, and be green. Bye.